Hello everyone. We missed you so much over here from the shul of Shaarei Tzion on Sunny Isles Beach, 17395 North Bay Road, right above the shul of Young Israel, downstairs. And we hold services over here every week. Shabbos, we start with Friday night, Kabbalah Shabbos. Last week was what time?
9 o'clock.
No, 9 o'clock. Too late.
אני מתחיל 8:30, לא? 8:30.
Last week, Friday night.
Mincha 7:30.
Mincha was 7:30. Then followed by Ma'ariv. Ma'ariv was
לא צריך להגיד שעה של מעריב.
yeah, followed by Ma'ariv. We had and then we have did you have Kiddush over here Friday night?
We have Kiddush.
Yeah, beautiful Kiddush over here Friday night.
Anybody want to come and welcome?
And there's a lot of good food. Rabbi Cohen, David Cohen, our beloved rabbi, whom opened up the shul of Shaarei Tzion about 5 years ago. Was it?
More.
And very soon, actually, the rabbi will bring me the blessing. I will show you the blessing the rabbi gave to the shul. Rabbi, could you bring me the blessing, or should I get it? I'm not going to use the coin. I don't use the coin for you. Not allowed to use the coin.
הרבי תמיד. אנחנו רק עם הרבי, נוסע אליו עוד מעט לניון.
So, guys, this is a blessing. What I did was believe it or not, my wife will be watching this. She'll be laughing right now because it was a Shabbos afternoon. Actually, was it before Shabbos? And my wife said, "You're not going this Shabbos." I said, I have to go. The Rebbe told me to go. I received a letter from the Rebbe that she opened to. She opened that letter. She said, you can't go. So the Rebbe said, she opened up the Rebbe's letters, and the Rebbe said in the letter that I have given him the job to walk to shuls and say Hasidus on Shabbos. And the Rebbe used the shuls plural, more than one shul. So I try to go. Rabbi Cohen does not allow me to go to any other shul, but I try to go to another shul because the Rebbe used 2 shuls over there. I was astounded. That's the letter she opened to. And you know, for the Rebbe, Shalom Bayis is on the hierarchy between Mashiach and Shalom Bayis. They're competing, you know. It's a competition. Shalom Bayis and Mashiach, it's like at the top of the Rebbe's priorities. We all know. So the Rebbe told her that I should go. It's funny because you should know. The Rebbe says wherever the book opens up, it's from Hashem. And it's based on the Torah. Tanaim, Amoraim used to do that. All the way back then, the Rebbe quotes. So the Rebbe says, you know, one time I was asking myself, should I do what my wife tells me to do? The book was opened up. It was a Beis Mashiach magazine. It was opened up. My jaw fell down. The Rebbe says in the letter that I love my chassid because he doesn't do everything his wife tells him to do. So I understood I have to go. So I left. I walked out and I left. So guys, this is the letter. I know you cannot, you know, my camera is not so good, but if you can magnify this, maybe you will be able to. I'm not sure how, whatever. This is another letter she opened to. And as you know, the name of our shul is Shaarei Tzion. And it's an unbelievable letter because the Rebbe mentioned Shaarei Tzion inside the letter. And the Rebbe says, you're going to read you the letter very quickly. Shalom uvracha, me'asher hineni kabbalas michtav mechafei nisan b'soyer atov al dvar binyan beis hakneses merkazi v'machanam atov. I have received the good news of opening shul. This was very good news for me in your good camp. ויהי רצון אשר חפץ השם בידם יצליח להקים בית מקדש מעט, מקום תפילה וגם מקום לימוד תורה שיעורים קבועים מדי יום ביומי ובהוספה בימי השבתות וימים טובים. It should be the will of Hashem that they should be successful to erect, to put together a place of davening, a place of learning every day. And the Rebbe says, giving classes, steady classes, shiurim kvuim midei yom beyomo. I have never fulfilled this yet. It's been 5 years. I've never been here every day like the Rebbe asked me to. So I've really never fulfilled the Rebbe's shlichus to the fullest. I'm embarrassed to say. Midei yom beyomo, every day. And the Rebbe used not one class but classes. This place should be giving classes, steady classes every week. And my wife opened up on Shabbos because she didn't want me to walk on Shabbos. And right here, the Rebbe says that that's on weekdays. But on Shabbos and Yom Tov, the Rebbe says, Ube'esafa, b'mei ha-Shabbasos v'yom tovim. And all this should be in addition on Shabbos and Yom Tov. More than a regular day. וקבוע גודל העניין בדרשת רז"ל על הפסוק אוהב השם שער ציון גומר. And then the Rebbe mentions the name of the shul, Sha'ar Tzion, that Hashem loves the gates of Tzion more than all the other gates of Jerusalem, which obviously Hashem, the Rebbe, Hashem loves every shul, but here the Rebbe mentions clearly the name of the shul, Sha'ar Tzion, which is amazing letter. I've received so many letters from the Rebbe, but such a letter, striking, like target to the point, like, you know, the Rebbe was so clear. The whole letter is about this. Sometimes you receive an answer, you know, and the answer is here and there, you have to pick it out. But this whole letter was just about Sha'ar Tzion. It's amazing. And these guys, this is the main part. Look at this, listen to this. Now, I'm not trying to bribe you, God forbid, you know, or anything like this, but I'm telling you, if you step foot in Sha'ar Tzion, this is the following. This is what's going to happen. Listen to this. Ve'yi ratzon, it should be the will of Hashem. Asher yeshamesh beis hakneses or beis hamidrash zeh. That this shul should be the serving point. Should serve. Merkaz, the center, the focal center. Lekol inyanei machanam hatoiv, to all the matters of their good place. Merkaz mimeno tispashet toraseinu toras chaim mitzvasei, a center from which the wellsprings of Torah should spread out, and the mitzvahs of Torah should spread out. Avas Hashem v'yir Hashem, the love of Hashem and fear Hashem, by giving classes over here and giving daily classes over here and emanating Torah and mitzvahs and putting everything that we're putting into this shul. This what will come out from this love of Hashem and fear of Hashem from this place. Ba'avodas Hashem, and the service of Hashem.
Plus the bracha of David.
B'chol batei atoshavim, huh?
Plus the bracha of David Cohen.
Yeah, I'm coming to that. B'chol batei toshavim, in all the settlements of this area, the Rebbe is blessing the entire settlements of North Miami and Aventura and Miami Beach from this shul. This is like the focal center of the entire Florida, guys. You don't understand what's going on over here. This is like the lotto of Florida. This is the power play of Florida. You know? And in their daily life, I'm blessing you with success with everything I have mentioned. Nun base. The Rebbe says, I want to make a small remark. What you have asked me to include a letter of recommendation, this is not the custom of the Rebbes to give a letter of recommendation. However, I am a friend to all those who fear you, who fear Hashem. I'm joining with this letter my personal check for your shul and everything that I have said before. Guys, this is an unbelievable blessing. And what I did was, after I got the blessing, I was so excited about it. I've never done this with any other letter. Every other letter that I get, which is also, I've gotten answers before in the past. We can talk about writing to the Rebbe a lot. I have a lot of things to tell you about. Amazing, amazing stuff. And I would like each and every one of you who is now watching this to know that you can come in here anytime and we can write to the Rebbe. I would be more than happy to help you out with this. And I will tell you this, that you want very much to write to the Rebbe. Even if everything is going on good and Baruch Hashem, always going well, every person needs a blessing. Whoever thinks does not need a blessing, he needs more than everyone else. That's a very important point the Rebbe mentions about writing to him. And we're going to go and put this back into the wall, on the wall where it was hanging up soon, but I'm not going to do it now. So there's a very important point the Rebbe mentions about receiving a blessing from him, which is that whoever receives continues to write to the Rebbe. I'm not doing such a good job in this myself, so talking to myself. Whoever makes it a point to write to the Rebbe on a steady basis, like weekly, once a week you would sit down and write like a little report to the Rebbe. And there's a way to do it. You can't just sit down and start writing. We'll talk about this. You have to go ahead and wash your hands. Obviously without a blessing, but like Netilas Yadayim, you know? 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3. Then you'd have to sit down. And it's online, guys. It's also online. It doesn't matter if you do it online. You just have to type in igrotkodesh.com. I-G-R-O-T Kodesh. K-O-D-E-S-H.com. And you will come to that website. And at the bottom of that website, if you want to do it in Spanish, in Hebrew, is it in Spanish? I think it's in Russian, in Yiddish, or in Hebrew. They give you a choice of 3 languages, and you could do it in either one of those 3. And if you have a problem understanding the answer, you can contact me right away. 305-967-2700. I'll be more than happy to help you. You know, normal hours. If you call me 2 a.m., I might not catch it, but I'll get back to you. And you can send it to me on WhatsApp as well. My name is Eyal El Kayam. I'm on YouTube as well. You can WhatsApp it to me, and I'll read it over with you, and we'll go over it. And it's a very, very good thing to do. And I'll tell you the point that I wanted to mention to you, why the Rebbe says it's very important to do that. Because the Rebbe says the following, amazing phenomenon. The Rebbe says the following. And when a person writes to the Rebbe's intrinsic nature, which is only good, like we say about Hashem and about Moshe Rabbeinu of the generation. Moshe Rabbeinu represents Hashem on earth. What was Moshe Rabbeinu's job? To represent Hashem, simply. And by nullifying yourself to Moshe Rabbeinu, back in the day, you nullify yourself to Hashem, simply. There is no other reason why Moshe Rabbeinu is there. Moshe Rabbeinu was here to connect us to Hashem. So there is no generation, the Gemara says, that does not have a Moshe Rabbeinu, does not have a leader. And the Rebbe says like this, that whenever we ask for a blessing continuously, so the nature of Moshe Rabbeinu of the generation, the nature of the leader of our generation, which is only good, and the nature of good is to be good and to give good, to influence good, bestow good upon everyone else around you. That's Hashem's essence. Hashem's essence is only good, and to influence good, and to give all the time, and to share. So too, when a person will ask a bracha, a blessing from the Rebbe, continuously, so blessings will continue flowing to that person. Continue going on to that person in his daily life, on his daily endeavors. Whatever he does will be influenced with blessing, will be good. So in that point, the Rebbe says, it's very important to remember that when a person does not ride, simply never asks for a blessing. So it could be a situation where God will actually bring him to the point where you will have to ask for a blessing. In other words, I don't want to say this in the negative connotation, but this is what the Rebbe mentions, that if a person will not ask for a blessing whatsoever, so sometimes, God forbid, it could come to not a good circumstance, where he finds himself not in such a good circumstance, having to ask for a blessing. In order to avoid this situation, a person should ride continuously on a continuous basis. Doesn't have to be every day, but could be, once a day, even once a day, some people do. Once a week, once in 2 weeks, at least once a month. And he will continuously get blessings which will avoid from any negative influences overcoming him, coming onto him, and will not, God forbid, be pushed to the corner into a negative circumstance where he would have to ask for a blessing. So this is a very important point to keep in mind, that we want to always keep blessings continuing to flow in our direction, and always being blessed in our daily lives for whatever we need, sustenance, health, family, and to be able to provide all the same for our siblings and for our family, God willing. So, to keep it short for tonight, I wanted to give an introduction about our group that the Rabbi Cohen created. It's a beautiful group. And what we would like to do is we'd like to stimulate a lot of Torah learning. It should be a group. We're not like, some people join me into other groups and they act like policemen. If you do this and if you do that, they make declarations like that. If you make this, if you do that, you move left or right, up and down. You're probably all familiar with that. We're going to throw you out right away. And I'm just there, I'm keeping quiet. And they kick you out, they bring you back in, and you didn't even say a word yet. I was so quiet in one of them. They joined me, like in a group of 200 and some people. And they were all fighting in between themselves. At the end of the day, it's like everyone tries to take over. Kind of like not really nice, Everyone is trying to be the hero of the group, the leader of the group. And just like the Gemara says, whenever your ego starts overwhelming the person, his own ego starts to overwhelm him, and he's thinking he's the master of the group, he's the leader of the group, he's allowed to tell, he's allowed to bring in and throw out anyone he wants, then the whole thing, at the end of the day, the whole thing falls apart. Nobody really wants to be part of such a group. So we're not that type of a group. We're a group that welcomes everyone. We're a group that is totally based on Ahavas Israel. We love every Jew, whether you think like me or you don't think like me. Yeah, you're Chabad, you're not Chabad, you're Polish, you're Yemenite, you're Moroccan, you're Ashkenaz. You know how the old saying goes. A Jew is a Jew is a Jew. At the end of the day. If you learn Hasidus, and if you really have the merit of receiving the Torah, and at the end of the day, the entire edifice of Torah means one thing. If you can't love your fellow man and you can't respect him, then you have lost the whole poenta. You have lost the whole point. You have got nothing. Because people cannot communicate to you down here. This is the world Hashem created. The world as it is the most important thing to Hashem. And you have to find all ways, ins and outs, every possible way you can ever think of to communicate in a way that people can understand you and communicate back to you and like what you're doing, and be favored and understanding to everyone. And whenever people see you, they will say, this is a nice man, I like talking to him. He likes me. He's not about business, he's about helping out. This is a real man to me. This is a real rabbi. I really like him. He really helps out. I love this man. He treats me like a mensch. Talks to me like a mensch. He really helps me out. That's what we're talking about. Respect to each other. And it's very pertinent, especially nowadays, when we find ourselves in the sphere of Omer, the counting of the Omer. And what was the whole problem? As we know the old story, how the old story goes with the students of Rabbi Akiva, that they did not have respect for each other. They were not little kids who were disrespecting each other, calling each other names and disrespecting in that way. The reason they were disrespectful to each other, the way they were disrespectful to each other, the Rebbe mentions in a sicha, in a talk that he gave. After all, they were students of Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Akiva was the author of the big saying, which is in the Torah, but he brought it out to the open. You should love your fellow Jew as yourself. And this is the biggest rule of the whole Torah. This is what the whole Torah stands on. If not that, you have nothing. So how could his students not love each other? He educated his students on this ruling. So the Rebbe mentions, really, Rabbi Akiva taught them how to love each other. But he taught them how to love each other to the point where this love was so strong, to the point where one student would say to the other, I love you so much, to the point where you're supposed to think like me. You're not supposed to think like you're thinking. You're supposed to think like me. Let's be a little humorous. So back in the day, if I said Yechi Adonenu, and you don't agree to that, then you're out of my league. I don't have anything to do with you until you start thinking like me. This is what they used to say to each other. This is the way they thought of each other. And that was their big sin. So the way we rectify this today is that you can be whoever you are. And as long as you're respectful, as long as you keep your guidelines, as long as you keep everything in a mannerable fashion, you keep your mannerisms, you keep your distance, you let other people express and voice their opinion about anything it is, should all be, again, like we said, guidelines should always follow the halacha and the Torah. You can't bring out subjects off the street. You can't just bring in this room anything you want. We are people, we are Torah observant, we are Orthodox, we are proud Jews, and we have to stay this way. We can't just talk about any subject. Subjects that are not befitting the shul or the Beis Midrash, the house of learning, should be out of this room, should be out of our forum, and not be discussed at all in the group. Anyone who brings in stuff that is not of this fashion will be removed. That's understood. That's not being disgusting or intolerant to people. This is the opposite. These people will actually come to understand what they're doing wrong and shape up, and maybe in the future, if they want to come and talk to us personally, we can bring them back into the group. But everything has to be in a respectful manner. That's the point. Even if you don't think like the other guy does. And another point, guys. It's obviously not going to be in that way, but it's good to get yourself used to the following. When you say something, for example, that should not stop you from saying what you want or voicing your opinion. But if you say, for example, I said before that the Rebbe Melech HaMashiach said so and so and so. It's my right. You can say you don't think the Rebbe is Mashiach. Guys, you're welcome to say this. It's okay with me. I have no problem with that. But you can make it like a Torah argument. And when you quote something or when you voice an opinion about something like this, it should be somewhat based on the Torah. In other words, yes, you can say the Gemara said this and nowhere does it say this, and that you can make yourself sound like you're a learned person. But it's better if you bring up your sources when you make a statement. Again, this is a learning forum, and obviously people who know about the subject, the more they know, the better. And you can ask all kinds of questions, and I will answer whatever I know to my knowledge. Whatever I don't, I don't. I don't know everything. And I'm not a Talmid Chacham. And but what I do know, I do know. And it's nice to be educated about the subject. The Rebbe emphasized, the Rebbe said a lot of times that we have to learn about the subject because we are right now in the time of Mashiach. As a prophet, the Rebbe prophesied a 6-day war, Sinai war, Yom Kippur war. I'm talking about everything before it happened. And the Gulf War. The Gulf War, 1991, summer 1991, the Rebbe said, in front of a whole audience. You see it on video. The soldier comes over and says he wants a blessing to make it alive through the war. And then he was holding a Megillah. I don't know why he was holding that Megillah, but Purim, Megillah's Purim. And he told the Rebbe that he should take the Megillah with him because he will probably continue, the war will continue into Purim. And then he will have to listen to the Megillah over there in Israel. So the Rebbe told him like this: you can leave your Megillah here, and you'll be back here the eve of Purim. Guys, this is on video. You'll be back here the eve of Purim to read the Megillah, because the war will finish the eve of Purim. In addition to that, the Rebbe said that not even one Scud will land on Israel and kill people. A lot of Scots landed on Israel, but never killed one person. Not even one person. Now these are tremendous statements to make. And all of that was said before the war. Every time the Rebbe predicted something was always before, not after. And that's what dictates what a prophet is. If you look at the laws of the Rambam regarding prophets and prophecy, the Rambam clearly states that when a prophet will make 2 good prophecies, he will be determined as a true prophet. And from now on, whatever he says, you have to listen to him. You're not allowed to test him. These are the laws coming straight out from the Torah. It's not Chabad or anything now. This is what the Torah says. Clearly, you can look at the Parsha when Hashem speaks about prophecy, speaks about Moshe Rabbeinu as a prophet. And a prophet, you're not allowed to test, and you're not allowed to think second thoughts about him, to try him out too much. But once he was proved to be a true prophet, you have to listen to every word he says. He's literally broadcasting live from Hashem. Therefore, it's very severe not to listen to a prophet when he is giving an instruction to do something, or he's telling you something to do, or giving you a blessing, or whatever it is. You should take it seriously, to the utmost. These are national scale prophecies. That's besides giving dollars to every person for the length of 50 years. When people pass by the Rebbe, each one individually, receiving $1 from the Rebbe with a blessing in accordance to their personal situation. And not one person ever came back and said, the Rebbe said this and actually didn't come true. Something else happened. Not one person ever. that you could ever recall from anywhere in the world ever came back to make such a statement, that the Rebbe actually said something to him that did not come true, did not manifest. Everything the Rebbe promised to anyone ever always took place with details. So what I'm trying to say, guys, is the following: that everyone can voice their opinion. Everyone is welcome. We're going to be learning a lot. We hope to stimulate a lot of learning. If you're Sephardic, you're welcome. If you're Ashkenazi, you're welcome. If you're Polish, you're welcome. You're a good person. You're respectful. You have manners. You can voice your opinion. Sometimes it sounds sharp. It's okay as long as it's not starting to manipulate and trying to antagonize or mock or use names or adjectives or jargons which are not respectful towards people or other groups or other personalities that you don't like. As long as you keep your respect and boundaries and your mannerisms towards other people in the group, always welcome to express your opinion, however sharp it sounds. That's fine. So, God willing, with a lot of learning from all sides and directions, and the point is, and the main thing is, of all this is to bring us all together. Because at the end of the day, we're all one and the same. We're all good in the heart. We all, and being the fact that we are Jewish, I'm not saying, God forbid, that non-Jews are not good people, but talking about our group right now, I'm not catering to the non-Jewish crowd right now. So, we're all good in essence, and we all at the end of the day want good for each other, and we have to come together. All these blocks and differences don't exist anymore. It used to be that they would ask the Rebbe a question about shidduchim, matchmaking, and they would come to the Rebbe with the following question. They would say, Rebbe, is it true that Ashkenaz cannot marry with Sephardic now? And the Rebbe says, this doesn't exist anymore. Not that it never existed. It had some ramifications in the past. It had some weight in the past. Back in the day. The Rebbe didn't mention when. But definitely not anymore. This does not hold true anymore. These boundaries don't exist anymore. There's a lot of subjects we can talk about. The Rebbe says the same thing about, a lot of people mention about the evil eye, and there's a lot of things we could talk about, guys. I don't want to keep it short. I don't want to belabor your night. And I just wanted to give this as an introduction to our group. It's a beautiful group. God willing, we're going to add a lot more people. Anyone who wants to leave is obviously welcome. We're sorry if we created any inconvenience to anyone. And God willing, with Hashem's help, we'll be showing up over here, hopefully every day, like the Rebbe instructed us, to give shiurim in Tanya, in Chumash, maybe in Gemara, but definitely in matters regarding Mashiach and redemption. The Rebbe says, since this is the focal point of our time, this is what's happening, as the Rebbe calls it, Hazman Grama. That it's a time-causing circumstance. It's happening now, and we have to learn about the subject because it's happening now, and the Rebbe says we have to live it. We have to live with the time. So thank you so much for listening. I hope you all enjoyed our little introduction here, and I love each and every one of you. Hope you love me as much. And God willing, we're going to see you soon again. Hoping, God willing, today is Wednesday, right? So tomorrow will be Thursday. Will be hard to meet, but I will make my best efforts to be here, even though we had to show up at Fort Lauderdale tomorrow. Beis Mashiach, guys. Beis Mashiach, 4538. I think it's the address 4538 Inverary Boulevard, Fort Lauderdale, by Beis Mashiach in Fort Lauderdale, the 770 of Fort Lauderdale, by the Rabbi Moti Anati, the Shliach of the Rebbe Melech HaMashiach, will be hosting everyone for a big Lag Ba'omer parade. The bonfire took place tonight, so we missed out on that. But the Talucha, the walk, the march of all the kids who will be joining us for the march tomorrow will be there, I think at 5, if I'm not mistaken, or 5:30. And the Rebbe, with this will close up. The Rebbe mentions that the Rashbi, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, he shows up to this march of all the kids, and he blesses everyone. He blesses everyone in the march. Whoever marches, whoever takes place, whoever joins the march, the Rashbi, Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, blesses him personally. And there was a person who wrote the Rebbe. He went for lunch, so he said, "I don't have time. I have to go to lunch." So the Rebbe told him that you're
next time.
No, I never seen a letter like this from the Rebbe, because the Rebbe would never use such words to anyone. But the Rebbe was so mad at him that he said that he's giving up the march with the kids for lunch. So the Rebbe told him that you're savage, you're a wild, like a wilder mensch. The Rebbe used the words wilder mensch. You're a wild man, like you're a beast, like you're a savage, like you're a beast, like you're a chaya. That you're going out to eat and you're missing out. The Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai is in the march, blessing everyone in the march. So I'm not going to tell you this, but I tell you that the blessings you will get tomorrow when you march with the kids, it's a passing train. If you don't go there, that's it. The next day is not like Ba'emer. It's a passing train. Guys, wherever you're at, make sure you join the march with the kids. With the kids. Thank you very much for joining me. Love you all.